Hey folks, what's going on? It's B from Kong's Arrest, and welcome to The Next Level. This is my weekly podcast show where we bring you projects, mods, community members that are absolutely next level. And today I have an awesome panel of guests that are absolutely next level. And today's theme is getting good at arcade games. And we all play games, we all have various skill levels, but what does it really take to be the best of the best? And I've been a fan of several of these guys, and I've watched them play, guys and gals, excuse me, that have been playing some of the top games that I love to play, but they do it way better than me. And so part of me wanting to do this stream was to learn from them. And I thought it would be a great topic for a show to have you guys learn a little bit more about some folks that you may be familiar with. Some of you guys may not be familiar with, but that's what this show is all about. It's just highlighting a variety of different people to get to know them and hopefully get this arcade community to really connect and know how to play games and have fun. So that's what the show is all about today. Let's check out what's going on in the chat. We got Bobby Broadway's here, Footy's here. My boy to die for, Bobby Vu, is here. Thank you guys all for coming in and checking out. I appreciate you guys. William Wright's here too. Thank you guys. So feel free to drop in any questions that you have into the chat. I'm going to bring on my guests one by one, start introducing them, and then have them say hello to folks. Hey, my buddy Dan Mabbit's here. What's going on, Dan? First person that I have who you may know for many other things, but may not know that he's an amazing pinball player. So I'm going to introduce the one, the only Mr. Wolfanoz. What's going on, man?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Hey, good. Thanks for joining the stream and inviting, or me, sorry, for joining my invitation to join this. I've been a huge fan. So my quick story before I let you kind of jump in, but most people, if you've seen the word Wolfanoz, kind of associate him more as an image maker for some of our beloved Raspberry Pi mods. My first image I ever ran on a modded arcade 1UP was your Hursty Wolfanoz 32 gigabyte. Wow. That was my baseline pretty much moving forward. So you're a legend in my book. It's just an honor to kind of chat with you and talk to you.
I appreciate it, man. You, Bobby, and Angel, all these guys in the community are legends to me right now. I mean, there's people in the pinball community I talk to too. Mm-hmm. You know, like for instance, there's a guy named Cliffy. He makes protective. You've probably heard of him. He makes protective stuff, like stuff for like inserts in the pinball machines so they don't wear down.
Cool. Nice.
I talk to him all the time. Real nice guy. So I mean, but yeah, I've been doing this probably for about, I'd say 7 years now overall.
Yeah.
But I decided, I'm going to take my skill as far as, working in Linux for 22 years and apply it to something I love.
Nice.
So
Very cool.
basically been doing that. But yeah, I've been playing pinball since I was about 3. So my parents would put me on a step stool near like a strip mall, which is essentially like a strip mall near my hometown. And it was like filled with like about 6 games.
Awesome.
And yeah, that was before Space Invaders. So,
so I have a lot more questions for you specifically about PinballFX3, because you're a part of this tournament that's been going on, and we don't even allow you to compete because you're so good. So it's almost like who's running for second place. But I want to get to that. I'm going to bring in my other guest first, so we have the full panel here. But thanks, Wolfanoz, for joining in. So my second guest. Thanks. So you may know him from the II Arcade community. He's a pretty well-known, outspoken character. You may know him as the Dragon Slayer, the one, the only, my arch nemesis in Dragon's Lair. No, I'm just kidding. He's actually my mentor because he shows me how it's done. Bringing him on right now, the Dragon Slayer, Mr. Prentice Howard. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Con? What's up, brother? How you guys tonight?
Good, man. How are you?
Looking good, representing that II Arcade. So you are the beast, the one to beat, the one to show them how it's done with Dragon's Lair, these Laser Kiss games. Tell the folks just a little bit about who you are, your love of video games, how long you've been playing.
Well, as you know, it's me, P. Diddy, P to the H. I've been playing video games all my life. I'm a big fan of the Don Blue series. So look at that right there. We got Space Ace in the back right there, which is one of my favorite games. I started out going to little small mom and pop places that had it, like Showbiz Pizza. And I see these guys all crammed around playing it. And I was like, man, I want to fit in. I want to stand out. So the little few coins that I had, I kept playing. And then, down the line, it got on all different consoles. So I just kicking butt on all consoles. And now I'm here, with II Arcade version. Which I'm
Showbiz, the South's Chuck E. Cheese, man. I miss it.
You know about Chuck E. Cheese?
Oh, yeah. I grew up near Fort Bragg half my life with my father, so.
I was a bit afraid of the monkey and when they play.
Bobby says it. He says Showbiz rules. Us oldies know, and not that Chuck E. Cheese as much. So, I might be a Chuck E. Cheese generation kid, so maybe a little bit younger, but that's okay. I think we all have.
I called it the Chuck E. Cheese of the South because that's pretty much what it was.
This is what it was.
Yep.
That's what was the mascot? They have a mascot.
It was a bear.
No?
It was a big bear. Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go.
It was like a big furry bear. I forget. He had a banjo too.
That sounds funny.
And they became Chuck E. Cheese's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There it is. All right, cool. Well, thanks, Dragon Slayer, Prentice. Everybody has a different type of nickname, but let's bring in some of my next couple of guests because I have a huge panel today. My next guest, she is an amazing classic arcade retro gamer, and I found her on the Arcade One Up official Facebook group, posting these amazing scores in Star Wars Arcade. And if you know me, I am well known for modding my Star Wars Arcade. So I ripped the guts out of that already and have stopped playing the original arcade. But every time I see her scores and everything that she does, it's always amazed me and blown me away. So I had to invite PhillyChick, aka Jennifer Yabut, to the stream. Jennifer, how are you, man?
Hey,
woman, sorry. What's going on?
Yes, and PhillyChick, because I am a Philly gal, true. It's like true and true, because I was born. It's like I was born here, raised in the suburbs. So I've been living here now for the past 30-some years since I graduated undergrad.
All right.
So and I grew up with the Atari 2600, which I'm going to be majorly dating myself. That was my very first home game system. My brothers and I played hours on it. The very first video game I saw was Space Invaders in the roller skating rink in the late 70s. So Star Wars came, and my brothers and I grew up in watching this original Star Wars trilogy, not that special edition crap.
The OG. I was telling Jennifer, are you a Star Wars fan much? You seem to have a lot of paraphernalia. You got your T-shirt, you got your I see you got the Star Wars pinball, you got your Star Wars cab. How big of a fan are you really?
I've been a fan since I was a little girl. I mean, it's like I grew up playing the toys, having lightsaber battles with my brothers. So yes. And this is the one game which I wanted to own as a kid. But the thing is, it's like prior to Arcade 1UP releasing the cabinet, there was no way to play it as I play it at home because I played it on the mouse on main. It's not nearly the same. And because I got to play it when I was a kid, and then later on, it's like it popped up. The Philadelphia has a barcade in Fishtown, so I got to play it in Fishtown for like a few years, and that was like back in 2014, 2015, and then but it wasn't until I was able to have it at home that I had real way to actually play it.
I got to work with a controller that game, but the best is always with that flight yoke. Just you know,
definitely not with a mouse on a computer.
Yeah, you're not going to be racking up your millions and millions and millions of scores. And I have stories for each one of you guys. I've gotten some videos and tidbits, so you guys can really see how good these guys are in terms of gaming. And so I think each of you have some similar qualities. So I thought this panel would be fun just to hear from some of the best of the best. And my last panelist I'm bringing on is one of the top players that I've ever seen in the Marvel vs. Capcom world, because that's my game that I've been playing pretty much every day. His name is BlaztTheSpeakerz. He's a man behind the scenes, and I'm going to add him to the stream. You might have seen him on my last couple of streams because we did some content regarding it. But Blast, are you there, man?
Hey, Kong, I'm here. Hey, everyone.
There he is. Yes, BlaztTheSpeakerz. He's part of Fighters Evo, a group that's been dedicated to showing off the fighting game community. But Blast, show him what's up. Why are you known for Marvel vs. Capcom? Can you give us like a quick, I asked you, do you play other fighting games? But you are like a Marvel vs. Capcom guru, right?
So aside from turning up the volume and whatnot and blasting my speakers, I would say Marvel vs. Capcom is my favorite game. Can I play different types of fighting games? Yes. Am I really out there with those fighting games? No, not that much. Marvel vs. Capcom just is my favorite. Myself and some other people from the X team, my buddy, real good buddy CS Vagrant, Blood Tide. We've made some videos along on the Fighters Evo channel over the years, and we've really been doing that. But now with Fighters Evo, we're actually going into a whole new different direction with the Arcade 1UP. At one point, I myself even kind of retired from the whole fighting game scene. I was like, you know what? Let me stop. Let me just chill. Let me just take it easy. But then when I saw that Arcade 1UP cab, I was just like, I need it for nostalgia reasons, for so many other reasons. I was like, oh my God, it just brought me back in. And then huge shout out to Footy Laughs, because I came in with there he is, the man Footy. I came in with the name of World Warrior. So if you ever saw World Warrior on the Arcade 1UP cab, that was me. And Footy over there, along with Rev, Webhead, and some other great guys out there, they were like, yo, you gotta play as yourself. Who's BlaztTheSpeakerz? You know, everybody was like, who is this guy? Like, what's your game? What's your name inside the game? We want to know. So I finally revealed that was World Warrior, and Footy was like, can you change it? Can you go with BlaztTheSpeakerz or BTS or something? So yeah, I did. So BTSX, that was my name. At one point I even got to first place and stuff, but then life general, you know, and all these other projects that we've got going on with Fighters Evo has kind of held me back from playing. So yeah.
We got a couple of fighting game community folks. We got Webhead here that says that I actually came in 5th in the tournament. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I saw the final brackets, but thanks for being here.
I can go back there and look.
I'm not sure. That doesn't sound accurate, but thanks, Webhead. But we got a super chat from AkumaRev, aka Rev5, and he says, BlaztTheSpeakerz cheats with the Nintendo Game Genie. Damn cup of noodle eating hacker. That's one way to get good, right? So thanks for being here, Akuma. Appreciate the super chat. But I think you said something that kind of resonates with everybody, that maybe you guys all started playing the real arcades wherever you were at, but somehow this home arcade market has really brought you back into the fold, whether it's the II Arcade, the Arcade 1UP Star Wars, the pinball machines, Wolf, and the pies, right? I mean, like, just all of that's really kind of come full circle for all of us that grew up this way and now have been able to rekindle that fighting spirit and cause. So for anybody on the panel, like, does that sound familiar to you guys? Tell me if that sounds familiar to what Blast was saying.
Well, I can definitely relate to it. You know, as a kid, these things just draw you in like a moth to a flame.
Yeah.
You want to stand out amongst the rest and make a name for yourself, you know, at the mom and pop places like that. Yeah, I could definitely relate.
Yeah. How about you, Wolf?
I have both real machines in the arcade 1-ups. And, you know, I hear, you know, I go to the purist forums and they complain about, oh, arcade 1-up and blah, blah, blah is ruining everything. I go, no, they're bringing attention to the classics, man. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to be afraid that, you know, you're going to lose value on your product and all this other stuff. If you want to sell, it's probably going to increase the value of it.
Yeah.
If anything.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I own a Terminator 2 and a Demolition Man machine. So,
awesome.
You know, it's one of those things. It's just, you know, you should be appreciative that, you know, we have all these things again. You know, I thought it was dying years ago.
Yeah, but, it's coming full circle for sure. How about you, Jennifer?
Yeah, because it's like, well, having grown up in the 80s, it's like where the height of like the video arcades, and even through the 90s. I mean, it's like, and I also saw the arcades, it's like the arcades die because there. I remember Center City, Philadelphia had 3 within like with like walking distance. They were all shuttered by like the early 2000s. So arcade 1-up, if anything else, has made made arcades cool again, and also made it consumable for like you know, regular people, because not all of us have like the space or the money. I mean, it's like for full size arcades, and if anything else, the purists should be grateful. I mean, it's like the fact that the interest in the arcades is being rekindled, because I remember a period of time where arcades were dead.
They were
not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Coming back, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to go back to in-person arcades. And since I've gotten back into rekindling my own home arcade, I have such a better appreciation whenever I go see a real one, like knowing that, you know, we may not have these opportunities to see some of these classics. And, you know, I experienced some of my home arcades closing down and going on the last day that it was open back in California. We had this really big, an awesome pier arcade called Redondo Fun Factory that closed down about 2 years ago. And I remember before wanting to own one of these, I was like, oh, maybe I can put it on auction, figure it out. And that's when me personally have come back. And again, the genre, each one of you guys are playing a genre of game that I'm fond of. And so this is my ultimate collection of the top players from the classic Laserdisc games that I was horrible at, Prentice and Space Ace and Dragon's Lair. It was one of those games I always wanted to play, but never could get good at. Star Wars Arcade I was more of the trilogy fan, but seeing Star Wars Arcade from arcade 1-up brought me back into that. And then pinball is so popular now, Wolf. Like it's crazy how big it's gotten from everybody wanting to play virtual pinball and experience. And I think everybody's saying you're having a greater appreciation. And then Blast, I pretty much play Marvel vs. Capcom every day. So I have huge respect for that community.
I have to say this. I didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking, but I saw you play the Slayer game, and I saw you reach that level, man, when you got to that rank. That was awesome, I have to say.
Yeah, I try to emulate each of you guys at some level where I can, and for some reason I can follow arrows pretty easily.
You gotta give yourself more kudos, man. You gotta give yourself more kudos.
Easy. Once you play it and you familiarize yourself, you're gonna pick up on it. Just look at it like a song. When a certain part of a song hits, you do this. When certain parts of the scene do this, you do that. You'll pick up on it.
Yeah, and I think you're kind of touching on what makes you guys so good. Is a lot of it is some of that muscle memory you guys have built into knowing how to play your games. And so can maybe I'll start with Jennifer. Like in terms of the mechanic, the physical toll it takes for you to stay focused for your 4-hour-long sessions, like you have to have a good amount of muscle memory that you've trained yourself to play the game. No?
Yes, and the other thing too is just like, if I'm playing Star Wars, I shut all the other games off, and I also shut the music off. I cannot have any other noise in the background.
Yeah.
Because like the thing is, it's like, and the other thing too is, it's like I know that if I'm like overly preoccupied, because it also reflects on my gameplay.
Yeah. How about you, Wolf? How do you play when you get in the zone?
I do the same exact thing. Like all the, with PinFX, I turn everything off. I turn all the characters off. I turn the score.
Oh, interesting.
You gotta turn everything off. Like even the ball, the trail.
Oh,
You know what I mean? It's just play it like you're standing in front of a real game.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You're not going to have the characters and all that kind of stuff. You're just going to have what they give you. You know, it's not, digitally done. So I try to play as close to like standing in front of a real machine as possible. So
Prentice, when you're going for the high score, are you focused in and locked into? Like, are you putting headphones in, no distractions? Because you like to play with flair, though. So you're turning on the cameras, you're playing blindfolded. Like,
It hit in the head with a cup. I'm still going to be focused. But in the younger days, it was all about repetition and everything. And kid, I saw myself as Dirk the Daring and everything. So I immersed myself. I dive right into the game, and I try to make myself that character or whatever. But when I'm trying to crunch the score or whatever, what motivates me is competition, basically. So
yeah, and that's the one thing that pretty much the current generations of cabs, besides Star Wars Arcade, Jennifer, but PinballFX3 has an online play, not the arcade one-up version of it. iArcade has a global leaderboard. The Marvel vs. Capcom cab has competition. And so I think you guys are saying competition really brings out sometimes the best in you, particularly. And with Blast, Marvel vs. Capcom is a fighting game. So this is not something that you can tune out. You have to be playing against somebody else. And so when you're in it playing a top player, how do you get in the groove when you're playing a fighting game?
Oh, I take an ass beating, that's for sure. I will admit. So yeah, I'm pretty good now. Can I go out and say, yeah, okay, I was first at one point, but I've played the Eddie Goods, I played the V Salmons, I've played all these guys, Morphus, so on and so forth. All these guys are great. And I've played some other great guys back in the day. I'll tell you, I take that ass whooping and then I give it right back. And we go back and forth, and that's what makes the game even more fun. And that's what keeps me coming back to wanting to play more.
But Blast, when you're playing another opponent and you see them do something weak right away, do you know if you won or not?
So yeah, the game is pretty much like you said. If I see something weak, it really is picking up on openings, if you will. So like I'll give you a perfect example. If I'm playing against a Wolverine player and he just does a Berserker Barrage, the hyper move, and I block it, it leaves him wide open for a certain amount of frames where I can attack those frames and I can do whatever I want to him at that moment. It's an open opportunity. Now it depends on who I'm playing against. The thing is, and I get called out for this a lot, is it depends on who I'm playing against. If I'm playing against somebody who's at my level, I'm not holding back. If I'm playing against somebody who's at a lower level,
like me,
I may toy with them a little. I may give them opportunities, because for me to just beat up on them, yeah, okay, sure, it may make them better, but that's not really what the game's about. It's really about just having fun, so on and so forth. So I try to always make those battles at least close to equal so that it gives them, definitely blast the speakers, Wolfman. So, but I try to always kind of, make it a fair fight, if you will. And I like that. I like the fair fight or being the underdog. Like a lot of people know, I started to use Ryu as a main. And my Ryu went up against the top player, Eddie Good. We had some pretty good matches. I don't know. Nice. I heard first to 10, but then I didn't know we were going more. But I was like, hey, let's play some more. What the hell? I don't care.
Some competitions and rivalries get heated. Where I think Eddie Good, who's one of the top players, and another guy Morpheus were playing over 100 matches. Like that's 2 to 3 hours when you're playing against somebody else. And I mean, I know you've gotten into the groove too, Jennifer. You've talked about some of your runs going for that and you zone everything else out. But even when I do my iArcade run, it takes a certain amount of time to like block everything out and get into it. So I have some quick stories to show you guys some background on each of you guys. But I want to get to a quick super chat because AkumaRev, thanks man for throwing in some super chats. So you don't need to. You can go ahead and ask your question. But this
is your quarters on the glass.
Put your quarters on the glass. He's part of Fighters Evo, but he's also a big pinball fan. He has an amazing X-Men street or pinball machine, a real one. And the question is for Wolf: how do you compare virtual pinball to the real thing? Is it on par or still missing something to feel perfect? And I think you're a great person to ask because you do both, right?
Right. The physics of obviously the physics of real pinball is always going to be the best.
Mhm.
That's just fact. But they're getting pretty close now. Like Visual Pinball and FX is getting really close to the real thing. But there's nothing like, I mean, I love virtual, obviously, because of the scoreboards. But I mean, playing the real thing, there's just something different about having a real machine in front of you and feeling everything popping in it, and then you shaking it and the ball. It's a whole different experience. I mean, I love it. I love having the virtual. I have a virtual table with like 300 games in it. So I mean, having like one machine with every game in it is nice. But I do go back to like my Terminator 2 or my Demolition Man more than not, because there's something about playing a real game, and not everybody has that opportunity. But the best thing is just to play each different type of game that's offered and see what feels best to you and enjoy it. So.
No, that's a great point. And somebody said about virtual pinball being kind of a nice, if you will, trainer for the real one, because they've been doing so well at replicating real tables. I know FX3 has a set of Williams tables that are replicating like this Medieval Madness one. So I think it's great. I experienced playing the real version a couple weeks ago when I went to Captain's Auction, and you're right, Wolf, there's nothing like playing the real thing. And I saw the same types of movements happening from the castle, but watching it is like a different feeling. It just evokes so many things. But I wanted to jump into showing you guys how good these guys are. So for Wolf, we've been a part of Your Average Gamer. If you haven't checked him out, he has a great YouTube channel, and he's been hosting this community tournament. So if you have PinballFX3, the real Steam versions, you can join in on the fun of this tournament. And it's been going on week over week. And check out, they shows the top 20 folks that are joining scores. But as I'm going through this sheet, look who's consistently at number one. Look at this. Wolfanoz is number one for this Medieval Madness at 660 million points. And what was the number two score behind him? 124. But like, look at this, like, domination. It's amazing. It doesn't stop just here. I'm going to keep going for a second. So this is the Jurassic Park table that was a couple of weeks ago. And again, you have your top eight, you got your scores, and then Wolf again at the top, 238 million. The next closest person was 50 million behind. And it just goes on and on. Like the Jurassic Park pinball tables, Wolf consistently beating out everybody. Everybody's just playing for second place at this point. But how are you so How are you so dominant? Like, look at I'm just gonna keep scrolling as you tell me, but like, how are you so dominant?
Miyagi like, but it's focus, man. You like I said, you turn off the distractions, and you basically, it's almost like driving. You're looking and scanning like for everything. And my best advice is all you can do is play a few games, get a feel for the game overall, like where the ball, where it bounces off, where it's headed. And then, react to it like according to how you played it before. And it's like you mentioned, it's like muscle memory.
Yeah.
So basically, when it comes to at a certain angle, you know how to handle it, or you know where to flip it off the flipper. It's kind of like that. But I mean, overall, if you're wanting to be successful, it's like holding the ball. You want to hold the ball and shoot it at the target that's blinking. It's as simple as that. Multi-ball, you can. People go ape wild with multi-ball, and they'll just flip the flippers, but you can actually do the same thing with multi-ball. So,
and if you want to see some tips on Wolf actually playing, so I'm trying to load it up right now, but his channel also has some recent gameplay. And so you're playing mostly the Steam version, but you're playing on a controller, right? Oh,
you got my intro.
Right. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. I'm going to fast forward this, but you can see there's Wolf playing there in the corner, giving some tips on the getaway. So, I mean, I'm just going to play this in the background while you talk through it. But like, what if people are going to your channel to watch this? Like, are you giving tips as you play along? You're playing with the controller. Like, do you think playing a controller gives you more of an advantage, or would you really do better with a full on cabinet?
Well, my cabinet, I'm in the middle of repairing, so I'm getting new PC parts for it. But I prefer my cabinet, to be honest with you. But I can play with a controller and a keyboard. So, I mean, like, honestly, either way, it doesn't matter to me, but I do prefer to have like the reality feel to it. Yeah. So
for sure. I mean, so this is, again, if you want to get good at PinballFX3.
That's how right there. Like, you got to hold one might fall off, but you got to try to hold it to hit the objectives. And that right there is during multi-ball. So,
okay. So when you're holding the flippers up and is it called catching the ball? Is that
it's cradling?
Cradling. Okay, cool.
Yep.
And so are you just remembering if you're trying to aim for the ramp, is it just about the like is it consistent in virtual pinball that you could always time it to get to that ramp? Like is that
It's about the
precise?
same as real pinball now. Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
close.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
So basically, you,
Mhm.
for instance, in this game, you have to get it off the end of the flipper to get it up that supercharger ramp there.
Yeah,
in the
right,
middle.
right.
And
Yeah.
that's a tight shot. That's in
Mhm.
real life, it's a tight shot. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but basically, yeah. I mean, if you want to, concentrate on where your shots are. That's all I can really tell you. If you're like a
Mhm.
beginner or somebody who's just started, just cradle the shot. You don't have to rush yourself. A lot of people just rush themselves, and
Yeah, just flipping flippers,
Yeah.
doing micro B's, flipping both flippers at the same time, like
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, you will. And are you reading through the objectives beforehand to kind of know a table, or are you figuring out as you play? Like,
I kind of
how
figure out as I go.
Yeah,
I've always figured it out as I go. I've always been that way. I'd rather.
that's-
I mean, the blinking shots would tell you where you need to be.
yeah,
So
that's true. Cool.
basically, also another skill is what
Mhm.
you'll do is you'll let the ball. If you say you have a target on the right side of the table,
Mm-hmm.
and the ball's headed down the right side towards the right flipper, let it hit like the top of the right flipper, and it'll bounce
Mhm.
over to the left, and then you cradle it.
You cradle
You know
it.
what I mean?
All right. Yeah, good tips. Are you guys taking notes? I'm taking notes because I'm about to join the next tournament, and I'm giving myself a goal to get into the top 10 because I know I'm never gonna hit. Well, never say never. I could get good, but I have a lot of
Yeah.
catching up to do with Wolf because you've been playing since what? You said 3 years old. You've been playing pinball.
About 3, yeah. And Brad O'Connell just said, panic will get you, and that's the idea. You can't panic because when you
Mhm.
panic, that's when you lose all your ball.
Yeah,
So.
and then dead flip, good stuff. I mean, there's a lot of pinball knowledge in the community. So if you haven't checked it out, if you want to join the tournament, it's free, it's fun. If you have the Steam versions of the tables, check it out on your Average Gamers channel. Highly recommend it. I got looped in by Polo and some other folks that were encouraging me, and then I kept saying like, oh, I wonder who's the top scorer, and just consistently like Wolf. It's just insane. I was seeing that and knew you from your image building, but the way you just blow people out of the water is like Tiger Woods when he was just going crazy, right? It's just there's no competition in between you being at the top spot and where everybody else is at. So
I'm
kudos
like Jennifer
to you.
and Dragon, man. I just get in the zone. You just get in the zone. And you put your blinders on and do your thing,
Yeah, that's so cool. All right, cool. Well, thanks. I want to jump to Prentice because all right, so Prentice has held at least at one point top scores in all the different IR arcade games. And right now, if you checked right now, he may not be there for various reasons. But let me share my screen and just show you some of the way and the flair and the style that this gentleman plays in, because he doesn't just go at it single-handedly. He goes at it hard. And how does he go at it hard? He plays by doing it live in front of everybody. So he's playing this. I think this is the first time Dragon's Lair the Space Ace. So Space Ace 2 came out right away, and he was already putting up high scores the first day. And if you notice, there are no arrows on his screen. So Prentice, this is the true way to play, right? Not the cheap way that I'm doing it.
Not the cheap way. If you're gonna be that real champion, you gotta turn off the arrows.
Gonna get there someday. But is this all just memorization? Like, how long have you been playing this game to really get that good at finishing the entire game without the arrows? Like, I don't know how long you played it, but it's hard.
Let's say if I took a break, if I took a year from playing it, pick up on it in roughly maybe 10 minutes, like a duck to water, you instantly know. And it comes to you when you see certain things in the scenes or whatever, and you know exactly what to do. I've always been playing it for such a long time, and I love to go back to it. And it's the competition right now. Everybody's kicking my butt. So I might put a new score up there. Who knows?
Yes, I can't wait for you to jump in there, because there's and then the IR arcade versions, for folks that don't know, isn't the true arcade version. There are some slight differences in different ways and scenes and things. So there's been people that have been putting up crazy scores, and I'm like, how the heck did you do that? So that's the great thing about leaderboards, because you can really drive and get hints from each other. But I want to show off this next video of Apprentice playing Dragon's Lair 2. But what does he do before he plays the game? Where is it? Is this the one? Is this the one where you put on your head? I was trying to show the one where you go blindfolded.
Oh,
Oh, maybe I didn't grab that video, but this is a DL2 one. But there was a video of Prentice playing blindfolded where you put a towel over his head and was playing. So tell me about the blindfolded gameplay. Is that just for kicks? Have you ever really tried to go for a high score? Or is that just being showboaty? Is that like Blast going crazy on a newbie? Like, what's with the...
It's just like
I must break you.
they do little just a way to wow the people. I've beat the whole game blindfold before, but I don't want to be such a show off. It's just in the moment to wow you. Like, wow, he could do this.
Yeah, I mean, you ever go to the arcade and be like, yeah, I can just walk up here and stop and build that crowd behind you? Have you ever had a crowd behind you playing Dragon's Lair at arcade?
Back in the 80s and 90s, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, man, there's nothing like that feeling.
It's showbiz.
Sometimes when I go to Six Flags Great America, and I'm like, 75 cents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The prices went up, but get a crowd.
So one of the things that I see you do when you're playing the game, because a lot of people will watch the reaction and then just press the direction once, but you're like, if you know what you're doing, you're pressing the direction a couple of different times. Like, why do you press? Like, I see you pressing it up in the direction several times instead of just the one time that you need to actually hit it. Is that a style, or
do it 2 or 3 times to make sure I put that in? You know,
okay,
get that button in, because sometimes I could do it too fast and I'll still get an error, but. You know, and then if you see me constantly pushing, that means I already know what the next move is. The next move, so it looks like really tearing away.
It's like you're trying to do a Hadouken or something like that. You're like pressing buttons. You're doing a combo. So do all the games allow you to do that? Because when I saw you doing that, I started kind of memorizing and was starting to do that too. Is that something that all the different games allow you to do? If you know the moves, you can try entering them ahead of time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to get everybody tips. So if you're trying to memorize your tips, follow what the master does, memorize it.
A person, it's when you only doing the move once.
Yeah, okay. Got it. Cool. All right. Any last tips that you got for getting good at Dragon's Lair and or Space Ace, Prentice?
Drink happy juice.
Drink that happy juice. That's I think everybody plays better when they're having a little bit of fun. So do you have a preferred beverage while you're going at it?
Yeah, no, I don't like to drink.
Okay.
It sounds weird, but I like to play barefoot, you know, when I'm playing it.
All right, there you go. You feel that connection with the ground, the floor, the earth. I think whatever you got to do to get that aura. The greats all have something, right? Whether it's LeBron with his powder or something going on, everybody's got something. PhillyChick, Jennifer Yabut, do you have any good rituals that you do when you get ready to play? Any drinks? You move your cat to the side, put him in a cage so he's not bothering and jumping on you?
I shut all the sound off, and fortunately the control panel for Star Wars is slanted, so she can't jump on it.
Oh, nice.
My cat has taken to jumping on the pinball.
Because
it's like most of the times, I mean, it's like I try to play. I mean, just like when she's upstairs sleeping, because if she's downstairs, she wants to play. I'm playing with the cat. I'm not playing games, obviously.
Yeah, so Jennifer, as I mentioned earlier on, so she entered an official contest that was the Arcade 1-Up official in February of 2020. Said, we're trying something new that we've never done before, a high score contest, which is pretty cool, on the Star Wars cabinet. And so they said to post your picks, or it didn't happen. And a lot of folks entered the tournament. But guess who won the high score? Jennifer Yabut at the time with an 8 million score. And you won what? What was your trophy?
This stool, this it's like this Arcade 1-Up stool. I got the Marvel one. So
there it is. This was your grand prize right here, a Marvel stool. So I mean, that's pretty cool for winning just a contest to be able to do that. But I mean, 8 million wasn't your best score. So I mean, tell me about that contest itself. Did you have to play a few times to get that score? Like, did you think that was going to be good enough when you first started?
I honestly didn't think it was going to be, because like, here's the thing, because in the grand scheme of things, I mean, just like my score is like, I mean, just like compared to like what's the highest score now? Like 300 million. That's like, it's like, that's the highest solo score. So there are really, really phenomenal Star Wars players, but apparently they're not an Arcade 1-Up. So I was not expecting And the other thing too is like somebody was asking me what settings I had it on. It was 9 shields, 3 bonus. But my thing is, it's like they didn't put the rule down. But the thing is too is just like if you don't do what I do in terms of like using the force or hitting all the towers, you're going to have to go through twice as many waves to get that score.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
So even like the people who are chirping, it's like, okay, if I do 9 shields and 3 bonus, I can get that high. I'm like, maybe not.
So tell me a little bit about the game itself, because it definitely is unique in terms of how to get a score. So I'm sharing one of your videos on your YouTube channel of you going through this. So kind of talk me through. Now you're watching. Tell me through your gameplay. Like, how do you what are your tips about playing this game, and just give us a quick rundown on what you go through.
Okay, so with the TIE Fighter section, I mean, it's like you basically have to track the fireballs and have a really fast trigger. So I mean, it's like, and this is the one that is like, and the thing is too is that this is just like one where it's like it really is quick reflexes. I mean, it's like, well, the whole game is fast reflexes, but for the TIE Fighters, you have to be able to fire. It's like you have to be able to shoot really quickly. For the towers. If you want to get if you want to get all the towers, you have to be aggressive. It's like you have to go aggressively after them. So I tend to, for the first few waves, I tend to like go from one side to another, to the other. So I tend to go to, so for like wave 5, I tend to go to the right. But for like say wave 11, I start. It's just like I usually cut across. And then I cut. It's like then I cut to the left, because if you cut to the right for wave 11, you're going to get hit. And the other thing too with the towers, if you get hit once, you could like lose your shields really, really quickly. So you don't want to get hit with the towers. But
you can shoot the fireballs through the towers too, correct?
Yes, you can shoot the fireballs, because like the other thing too is it's like with Star Wars and a lot of these old arcades, there's a high risk reward. I mean, it's like so it rewards like high skill level. Like with a trench, it's like using the force, you get 100,000 points. And the way you use the force is like you do not shoot anything until you get to the exhaust port. So the way I explain it with the trench, there's 8 quadrants. So you see me like if you like watch one of my videos, you see me cutting really close sometimes. So what I try to do is it's like I stay in the far corner and I try to draw the fireballs. Then I go in the opposite corner. Now it gets trickier when the barriers start. It's like when you start getting to like the one-hole barriers that you have to fly through, and sometimes I will get clipped. I mean, it's like if the game decides to shoot a fireball at me, and there's also some formations too, where if you're trying to use the force, it's like it cuts really close, and sometimes you just get hit. So the other thing too with the trench, if you lose more, it's just like if you lose more than 3, you're probably going to have multiple waves. You're going to have like a bad day. So
they should hire you for the Rogue Squadron show, Jennifer, as a prize instead. That'd be awesome.
This is fascinating to watch it and have you talk through it. Yeah, because I think I've read some of your comments in the chat or in the Facebook group when people see your high scores and they're like, how do you do that? And so just watching it and hear you talk through it, it starts to make more sense, and it just takes so much concentration and skill level. Because again, when I'm playing the game, I think my cursor is moving all over the screen, but you kind of know where to go. And you said it starts to randomize after a certain point. So up to a certain point, can you play this game on memory?
Well, yes. Like here's the thing with the towers. So it's like there's like a set number of formations. I mean, it's like so. There's a set number of formations from 3 to 11, and then starting wave 12, it resets back to like as like the third. It's like the wave 3, as like wave 3 formation all the way up to 11. But starting in wave 21, it starts randomizing from 6. It's like from 6 to 11. But then the number of towers increases by 4. So the tower formations you can't memorize. It's like you can't memorize. But starting at wave 21, I mean, it's like you. If I look, it's like if I see how many towers I have to hit, I mean, it's like I generally know what formation's coming.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Very cool. Is this inspiring you, Wolf? Do you want to get in there and bust out your Star Wars arcade?
I love this game, but I'm not as good at this as I am pinball. I'll tell you that much.
Well, it's like another thing too with Star Wars. I mean, it's like until I got the arcade 1-up version, the only time I got to play as an adult was when it was in the Philly Barcade, like back in 2014. It was there for a couple of years, and it was always broken because the controller. This is like the original arcade controller uses plastic gears. The gears break down, and then it's like in the old CRT monitors. Especially with the vector games like Star Wars and Tempest, they have to, it's just like they break down too. And in like it's like in this century, it's very hard to find replacement monitors.
Yeah,
so
shout out to Glenn, by the way, B, because he's making that new flight yoke for the 1UP, and
yes,
I'm waiting to get one from him personally, and it's solid. From what
you
I
have
hear,
one, Jennifer, right? So this is I didn't show the picture of it, but Jennifer goes so hard. She's the only person I know who actually has physically broken her arcade 1UP yoke by going so hard that she needed a replacement. So tell me about the time you broke your yoke by going too hard on your arcade 1UP Star Wars machine.
Wow.
Well, the thing is, it's like the yoke is very stiff out of the box, and it's like instead of gears, it uses springs. So the x-axis uses like this large spring, so it springs back to center. And the thing is, it's like so when I first started using it, I mean, I started hearing cracking sounds, and then at one time I just like heard a huge crack, and I'm like, oh no, and then it just like stuck in the one side. So he very helpfully like posted a video on how to open the yoke and repair it. So I opened the yoke. It's like I opened the yoke, and I was just like, oh, the spring is broken.
You broke it hard. I mean, I've opened the yoke, and it's probably one of the best quality controllers that Arcade 1UP has put together. So it takes a lot to break it. And I say for folks that are casually playing, you probably will never break it, because people always ask me like, is it good enough? Should I get the Allen 1 yoke or the GRS yoke? Because people asked me to mod their Star Wars at the time. And I'm saying like, no, it's a really good yoke. The only person I knew who's ever broke it is the one that plays it every day and goes for the high score every day. So unless you're playing it like Jennifer Yabut, you're probably pretty good. But do you feel like you're better now with the GRS yoke? You have the replacement in yours now, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's just like I feel like my overall gameplay has improved. The y-axis is lighter than this is like
the spring tension is different.
So it did take me. It's like it did take me a little bit to adjust to it. But it's like overall, I play a lot better with the GRS yoke. And I highly recommend it, because the one thing with the Allen 1, which Ralph also showed in his YouTube video, it's not like there's now it's like an arcade 1UP adapter, but you have to cut your control panel to make the Allen 1 fit.
Yeah, interesting. That's funny. I just got a client who really wanted to put an Allen 1 in the yoke, so I have one that I plan on doing my own formal review on later on. So that'll be cool to see the hardware differences and things. I've gone yoke crazy. If you still don't know me, I'm most popular because I was one of the first people to mod the Star Wars yoke. But I'm not the traditionalist. I wish I could say I play this game as much as the other games on my Star Wars actual arcade. But this is awesome. It's so great to hear from you. Thanks, Jennifer. We had a question, just one question from you about how do you know which towers to shoot? You just shoot them all, right? Like that's
yes. It's like it's like well, the towers. I mean, just like are the white. Is this like are white?
Oh, so, I see the top of the yeah.
The
got
top.
It.
It's just like the top. And the other thing too is just like because I know all. It's like I know where to shoot them. So at this point, it's like that's just practice. I mean, just like knowing where they show up.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, because it's like if you miss it during one pass, it will pop up again. But the thing is, it's like if you miss it too many times, and then the wave is over. And then especially like wave 11, where you have to hit 28 and then later on 32. If you screw up wave 11, if you mess up like one pass in wave 11, you're probably not going to get it. Or you're going to, or even worse, you're going to like drop 3 or 4 shields if you get hit.
So what do you think about the Star Trek vector game, Jennifer?
I never played it. I saw it. I saw it in the arcade. I never played it.
It's a good game.
I play. It's like what I do play is Tempest. I haven't played it in a while because I've been like I've been like a major slump and yeah, but it's like Tempest, and Tempest I actually have a harder time with. I mean, just like I honestly feel like I plateaued in Tempest for like a very long while.
Yeah, that's another question I'm going to get to you guys at the end to hear about what other games you're great at to maybe translate in some of your skills. So that hold on to that thought for a second as I move to Blast. You had a question for Jennifer?
I actually that was one of the questions I had because I did see this arcade 1UP cab and I thought it was pretty awesome. Unfortunately, I live in a bedroom, like a 2-bedroom apartment, so I really don't have the space. I know you guys are like, oh, make the space, whatever, but
I live in the same type of thing, man. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's what up. And trust me, my girl would probably chop my head off. But aside from that was one of the questions I had for Jennifer, because watching it, I mean, it looks so awesome, but it just brings me back to some of my old good days when I was playing Star Fox on like the SNES. And that's what I wanted to ask Jennifer, actually, if she was playing other games that were similar in nature. But if Kong, if you want to bring that up later at the show, that's cool too. But that was one of my questions.
Yeah, let's get to you, and then we'll go right back to that question because we're coming up on the hour soon. I don't want to take much longer than an hour, but I do want to just mention that P-Dub says Jennifer is the queen of Star Wars, and I absolutely agree. So you are, I will say it confidently, probably the best arcade one-up Star Wars owner out there. I don't think there's anybody out there that has made themselves known, and if there is, maybe they'll do another contest and somebody will challenge you for your throne. Imagine if they did online high scores for Star Wars or any of the other connected cabs. That would be cool, but unfortunately all we can see is just your amazing scores on your cab. So thank you, Jennifer, for sharing some of your tips. I hope this is inspiring some of you guys to get back, play some of your other stuff. But Blast, let's get to you and talking about your background, because fighting games, you were born and bred in the arcade where you had to be playing against other people to get good. Like this is, I mean, you could practice at home, but tell us a little bit about kind of your background, and then you have some videos to show, right?
Yep, I have some things to share with you guys today. But before I get to that, I'll just give a quick background. So I mean, I was playing fighting games probably since a teenager, since like Street Fighter 2 came out. Not Street Fighter 1, but Street Fighter 2. But realistically, I was always into the X-Men versus Street Fighter, the Marvel versus Street Fighter, and of course, the Marvel versus Capcom. Marvel versus Capcom holds a special place, though, for me, because in 2002, emulators came about, and that's really when I started to get really good at them, because I would constantly play, and met some great people back then. Liquid Metal X is a person out there. CS Vagrant, obviously. There was even some real old schoolers, some great guys like Toxie, Zax. Those guys were probably the first ones to ever make like combo videos way back in the day. I don't know if anyone knows.
Show them how it's done.
Oh yeah, but yeah. As far as myself, I mean, I got good at these games. I started playing, and at some point, I'm getting to like the first place or second place. Honestly, I don't think rank or being first or second or any of that truly matters. I mean, yeah, sure, we have tournaments, which Fighters Evo is actually running right now as well. Hint, hint. You guys should sign up. Play some games on the cab.
Jennifer just got her Marvel vs. Capcom cab, right? You're gonna enter a tournament now?
I suck. No, right now my record is 219. I suck.
Come on. Okay, well, Jennifer, you know what? A lot of people come about and say, you know what? I suck at this. I can't play this. Screw this game. And you've got people that are spending like $400 or $500 for these cabs, and I feel bad myself personally. Like somebody will get a cab and then they'll collect dust, or they won't go online with it, and they won't really get to experience that that community that, like, for example, what Footy had started with, since we have the Discord and the Facebook group, where everybody pretty much communicates with each other there, and then they get to play online and so on and so forth. But But yeah,
last just year
I am playing it. I was like, I am playing it. I am playing online. Good. I fully acknowledge I suck. I did beat Onslaught a couple times, and I got my of course I got my ass beat really, really bad. But yeah.
Well, I'm hoping to change that. So one of the things I have to say is looking at other people like Arnold Schwarzenegger had all these speeches and all these things about, you can get good, you can get whatever. And it's always about giving back. And it's true. It's like, all right, fine. Like I got to first on the cab, and I could have kept going, and I could probably still be up there with those guys, competing and playing and whatnot. But I've chosen to take my time, and instead of playing and competing, I've decided to give back to the community. I've decided that we're going to turn Fighters Evo into something where we're giving back to the community. We've got Rev right there, who has been doing an excellent job with Put Your Quarters on the Glass. He's been
doing the play calling. Yeah.
He's been like calling all those fights, and at the same time he's doing tournament coverage. While we're running these tournaments, this guy is recording everything live while they're playing, and then he's uploading those onto our Fighters Evo channel so that people can go and check those out later. Now we've got some other plans for Fighters Evo where we're planning on a website, so on and so forth, eventually, where you can actually go to those pages, watch those videos, watch how those tournaments transpire, so on and so forth. But one of the big things that I've been personally working on, and today's kind of like the big reveal, if you will.
Show us, Blast. Show us. So, but before you reveal that too, just because you've already kind of showed that you can get to first place, but with a fighting game, there's not a high score. I mean, you can high score playing the computer, right, in the game itself, but you're really playing to rank and beat on other people, right? So how do you gauge yourself? How do you know if you're the top dog? Like how do you, like, was it tournaments? Was it just playing online like you were saying? Like you reached number one spot in the arcade 1-up level, but like did you ever feel like you were number one or just like one of the top players in the game? How do you know in a fighting game how good you are because there's not a high score?
I don't want to go out and say I'm number one because my old man actually taught me something. My dad taught me one thing. He said, son, no matter how, like I grew up doing martial arts, doing karate, and my father taught me that when I was winning those, those bringing home those first place trophies, so on and so forth, my old man was like, you know what? Yeah, I could see you have a little bit of a swelled up head. Let me say something to you. He said, son, no matter how good you get at something, there'll always be somebody out there that's better than you. Now, whether that's true or not, it's technically irrelevant because the truth of the matter is why he said
better.
Is you can get better, and yes, you want to, and that's actually what's engaging and makes the game more fun and makes you want to keep coming back and play. And I can get those guys that are playing like 100 games and all of that. But I'm well into my 40s. I don't know about those guys, so I can't devote that much time as I wish I could. I'd rather be productive and try and give back to the community at this point. And also,
and you are giving back.
I have, well, we're trying. Fighters Evo is trying, all of us, not just myself, but all the other guys have been involved. Rev, Webhead, Bloodtide, big time Bloodtide. Holy crap, man. That guy's been with us from God knows when. CS Vagrant. I'd have a whole big list if I kept going. The whole X team, it's behind Fighters Evo, the X team, which is the origins behind it. That'd be a whole different show. Like when it's
all right, cool. Quick pause, Blast, because we got in chat here because folks were talking about online play and wishing that Arcade 1-up could get some online play, talking about iArcade. And we have a guest from P-Dubs who says, what if I told you I knew what the next online iArcade game is coming soon? So I know some folks are already kind of starting to side chat, but we gotta push Dubs. Come on, Dubs. You can't say that and not say something. You gotta
Bill it. Let it happen.
Prentice is saying, number one fan Prentice is saying you got to give us a little bit more than that in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to hear more from Dubs, or maybe he should just go live right after the show and just be like,
he's saving it for his show, man.
He's saving it for his show. He doesn't want to give it up, but that's okay. Thanks for being here, Dubs, and giving us a teaser in the chat so that we can get some. Yes, P-Dubs with the Jong leads. Here we go. But I mean, an online fighting game on iArcade would be pretty cool too. I mean, there's capability there, so I'm hoping that those platforms that already have the built-in stuff. I know ArcadeNet can do it too. And maybe I'll ask that. Like, does ArcadeNet have Marvel vs. Capcom? Could they do an online fighting game through that system? For anybody that has, I've only had my Legends for a little while, but do you know if there's the popular fighting games on ArcadeNet? Let me know in chat if anybody does. But Blast, go ahead and reveal what you're doing to help people get better at Marvel vs. Capcom. All the ones are coming in, P-Dubs. We're ready. Blast, you ready? Are you still there?
I'm sorry. Right. Can you guys hear me all right now?
Yep. Show them what's going on.
So before I show this, we're actually working on some tutorial videos, and I'm going to show you our first tutorial video, which is going to be Wolverine in Marvel vs. Capcom. Why Wolverine? Because he's probably one of the easiest character to pick up in the game. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to import this now. This is the just to give you an idea of what the layout and how everything will look in the tutorial when you're watching it along. This is that video.
All right, here we go.
Hi, everyone. BTS here from Fighters Evo, coming at you live with a preview of our upcoming Marvel vs. Capcom Wolverine tutorial. This is a special sneak peek featured only here on the Kongs R Us YouTube channel.
This is so cool, man.
That's right. It doesn't matter what platform you're playing on, whether it's going to be an Xbox, PlayStation, Arcade 1-up, or an emulator, etc., etc. The movements within our tutorial will remain the same and can be applied to all of these platforms. While watching the tutorial video, you'll notice an arcade stick up at the top of the screen where you would normally see the clock counter. In addition, you will see each movement and button that is pressed during the tutorial video on the left-hand side of the screen. Follow along as I perform these movements throughout the tutorial.
I have my fight stick here ready.
Most
I'm
arcade
watching.
sticks have a 6 to 8 button layout. The
That's
arcade
right,
stick
Tom.
shown in this tutorial is an 8 button layout. However, only 6 buttons will be utilized. Notice them as I press each button and perform an action. For example, by default, Wolverine is in a standing position. But if I press low punch, you'll notice low punch lights up, and on the left-hand side, we have a fist showing an L for low. Let's try medium punch. And high punch.
Dang. Did you program this? Can all of you guys do this for your respective
The cool thing about
games?
medium kick is you can press it twice.
Oh,
kick.
Prince, everybody's bringing out their fight sticks
And then
now.
I
Look
can
at this.
also obviously move around, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into the tutorial today. Sign up at our YouTube channel, Fighters Evo, but here's a little combo just so that you can see it and you can get an idea of what's coming soon.
Great!
So that's just a basic combo. Now,
Whoa.
one of the things that I did before, I had given Kong a video, and I think we should show it, Kong. I'd like to show it just so that people can understand at what level we get up to in the tutorial video. We're actually going to start from the ground up and build up your skills. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I'm going to show you guys move by move how to connect them, how to do those combos, so that people like Jennifer over there are going to come up and you're going to see them in the top 10 list.
Wow.
I'm telling you, you'll see. But the
Talk
best
about
thing-
next level tutorials, right? Like,
Thank you.
how awesome is that? We're saying that in the chat right now. Like, wow, that looks great. This is awesome. I mean, this is really cool, Blast. So, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. No, my whole goal is basically to give the watcher and the player the opportunity to play back that video and kind of practice those combos over and over. Wait, Kong, no.
Not yet. Is this the wrong one?
Yeah, no, hold on.
All
Wait,
right.
now, is this the import or is this the one that I gave you originally?
This is the original one, unless you have a different one.
Do we really want to show the original one with the onslaught?
It's okay. I'm only going to show just a little bit of it. So I'm just going to show your infinite combo just to tell folks. So,
So let me do the import because I brushed up that video a little bit.
Oh,
and
you
it does
did?
not
All right.
have it does not have that additional footage that they'll only get when they actually see the full
because
video.
I was going to say, like, Blast, can you do this live? Can you show people on your stick and how to do it? So he put together these videos, but like, I want to show you guys again. My goal at some day will be to do an infinite combo because it's one of those things where I'm sure there's some things that you can do in games where like, oh, this is my goal to do it. And I just don't have the button muscle memory yet. But I feel like these videos will help me get there, right?
Yep, definitely. So this tutorial will, like I
Mhm.
said, it'll build you from the ground up. But once you get there, you'll understand what these movements are doing. And it's step by step. So we're skipping way ahead into chapter 7 now where we're going into advanced. I'm going to show you an infinite combo. Probably the easiest one to pick up, if you will. And then
Jennifer, take notes. Wolverine player.
yeah, it's something for you guys to
I'm paying
practice. So
Go Blast, play it.
Kong, I'm going to go ahead and do the import so everybody can check this out. Ready?
Do it.
1, 2, 3.
Come on, X-Men. We got work to do.
Okay, let's talk about infinity combos. What is an infinity combo? Come on, everyone. Don't you want to know? Well, it's a sequence of repetitive movements that you're performing one after another in a loop. One of the easiest infinity combos to learn is performed on Jin, which is a character-specific infinity combo, but I find it to be the easiest one to pick up for a beginner. There are 2 ways to set up this infinity combo. One being from an air combo, or another being from the Berserker Barrage X Hyper move, but both setups will utilize an OTG, or better known as off the ground. Simply by pressing low kick, it will bounce Jin into position, which is your OTG right there, and then you can proceed into the first sequence of movements, followed by the loop, with a low punch instead of the low kick. So again, the low kick is your OTG. The low punch is what you'll be utilizing in the actual loop sequence. So the loop sequence itself is a low punch into medium kick, being pressed twice, by the way, followed by a crouching high punch. So it's a low punch, medium kick, crouching high punch. Practice the sequence after you have the OTG down. Begin with practicing the OTG over and over, and then try the loop once you have mastered the OTG portion of the Infinity combo. Good luck.
That's so dope. Look at this.
That's it in real time. That's it in real time.
That's in real time. What is this 100%? Like you 100% somebody with this infinite?
Yep, this is the full 100% that you're watching right now.
Oh my goodness. So if he catches you, it's over. Look at this. 69. How many?
I'm going to tell you guys, this video took me 20 minutes to make. I drop it. I have not performed that in a while. It took me a while to put that
80 hit
together.
combo. That's crazy.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
I have an easier time pulling specials than combo, so this is actually going to be very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
They're saying, Skylar says, that looks like every match that I've played. So for folks that are trying to get into the arcade one up, you're not playing against BTSX every single time. And again, the top players usually, depending on your level, won't go as hard. But when they go hard and you get caught, it's pretty crazy to keep that up. So impressive, right, guys? I mean, I think each of you guys are all impressive in your own right. I think this has been an amazing show to just showcase that everybody has a unique talent to be able to get good at whatever they want to put their mind to, whether it's a fighting game, whether it's the Space Ace, Star Wars, or Pinball. I think this hopefully has been enlightening. I want to just finish up the round of, what are some other things that you've translated some of these skills to? I feel like each of you can do more. So to Blast point, Jennifer, like what other things are you really aiming to do to get better at? I know you said you Tempest. What other games are your go-to things that you play?
Yeah, because it's Tempest, I mean, just again, I feel like I've been in a rut. I mean, oddly enough, I mean, just I've gotten really good at Pac-Mania, which is a very, very different. I mean, just and also it's in terms of reaction time or whatever. But some of the other shooting games like Time Pilot 80, Time Pilot 84 is also another one of my go-to because I think what's that?
Stole my thunder, Time Pilot.
Yeah, I do a lot better with Time Pilot 84 than the original Time Pilot. I mean, it's just I think Time Pilot 84, I've got over 300,000 points. So
wow, cool. Wolf, what else are you great at in playing?
She stole my thunder, but I mean, everybody loves Galaga. Don't get me wrong, I love Galaga too. Let me preface that, but Time Pilot is my jam. It always has been, and I just aim to get better at that. I can get past the UFO stage 3 times before losing. I get halfway through, 3.5 ways in, and then die. So that's pretty much my score right there. So, but that's pretty much a reaction. That's a reaction time game. So cool. I mean, you can take that any kind of game like that and translate it from pinball to that. So.
Sounds good. I'm gonna have to try. I'm gonna take notes on some of these other games too, because I'm trying to expand my gaming library of things that I want to feel like I can get good at. And for some reason, Space Ace and Dragon's Lair, I was able to pick it up quickly and had one of the top scores. Granted, I'm cheating, but it's training for me. It's almost like Blast doing his trainings, but iArcade already built in the tutorial because I can just press the buttons and follow along. That's my DDR skills. But Prentice, what else are you playing that you're good at that you feel like you have really great skills at?
Well, currently right now I am playing Call of Duty Cold.
Yeah, PC gaming, huh? Or are you playing on what are you playing on Xbox?
I have it on PS5.
PS5. Okay, cool.
Same here.
I'm pretty good at it. I've been winning a lot. I love to play hardcore, solo, no teams, where I could allow myself to stand out amongst the competition and everything. And I'm really getting good at it. So in order to get better, I just forget about the scores and everything. And just, like I said, just dive right in, become that soldier. And the soldier. A lot of people got an issue with camping and stuff like that or whatever. Just mix it all up. And I'm good at it right now.
Cool. First person shooters are a whole nother genre beast that I wish I would be better at, but yeah, that definitely takes another layer of skill too that you can't memorize, right? That's a different type of game every time you play it. So that's kind of one of the unique things that bring that variety. But somebody was saying that, yeah, I have DDR skills. I was the secretary of my DDR club at UCLA back in the day. So, you know, I can step on some pads. That's why I'm so good, Prentice. I can follow arrows like nothing. So Blast, well, what about you, man? Anything else you translate your skills to?
I only speak Marvel versus Capcom. No. In all honesty, I mean, I've even seen some comments where people are like, "Can you do some other games like Marvel versus Street Fighter or X-Men versus Street Fighter?" I mean, yeah, that is eventually the intent. I mean, let's do baby steps at a time. Let's stick with one game at a time. First game, since everyone's really mostly playing Marvel vs. Capcom, we'll start with Marvel vs. Capcom now. Do I know everything? Can I play everyone? I mean, I could probably play every character in the game, but do I know everything? Probably not. But I do have some resources and some other players who I could reach out to actually learn those things. So challenge accepted. Let's leave it at that.
There it is. Cool. We got Mad Dad saying to Prentice. Oh, sorry, I get some feedback there. Okay, so Prentice saying that Mad's dad is playing some Call of Duty too, so you can join him in there. I think that's really cool that the arcade community is looking to play games with each other. If you're not playing, if you want to join some of us that are playing pinball, so just last things, UAG's PinballFX3 tournament is going on pretty well. You got the Marvel vs. Capcom arcade 1-up group that you can play. You have the Dragons there or Space Ace on iArcade. I wish there was online gaming for Star Wars, but Jennifer, maybe you can start a new high score group or something like that so we can all inspire more Star Wars players to see what's going on. But I'm just give everybody a quick final word to kind of say any last things you want to share. Jennifer, any last words for the group?
I have nothing.
Just like nothing. Sorry to put you on the spot, but I just wanted to give an opportunity. But check out PhillyChick's YouTube channel for that video that I shared. I think it was an hour long, so there's lots of gameplay, good stuff there. I think you're just a de facto expert. Reach out to her on the official 1-Up Facebook group too. You're very active there. So thank you, Jennifer, for being on here. Wolf, anything you want to shout out? Things you got going on?
I appreciate you having me on. I'm on Discord. I'm on YouTube.
Yeah.
I just started the YouTube channel doing the streaming of the games and stuff, but eventually I'm going to get to your level of, interviewing people. So not quite there yet, but I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Awesome. How about you, Prentice? Anything going on with you? Dragon Slayer?
All I can say is Forge Pain, PS5, send me an invite.
Oh, yeah.
And Blast, I want to tell you, you inspired me, man. I'm going to break this thing out.
Awesome. That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it's about. Get good. Isn't that what the video title is?
It is. It's setting Get Good because we got a tournament going on. Blast, you want to pump up the tournament really fast that you have posting for Fighters Evo?
Hell yeah. We so far have 15 people that have signed up. We have 15 participants. We need more. Sign up, guys. Now, listen, it's not about who's going to be on top, who's the victor, so on and so forth. Sure, okay, yeah, there's guys that are going to pull off infinity combos, war machines hovering over you, so on and so forth. Don't care. Play the game, have fun. It's all about having fun. Like my buddy over there, Footy Laugh, says, always have fun, always laugh, because that's what it's about. That really is.
What did Johnny say in Cobra Kai? Punch me?
Never dies, man. Never dies. Leg.
I want you to punch me.
Cobra Kai never dies.
That's right.
That's right. Rexer, are you great at sports games? Are you looking for an invite to the next show on how to get good? So maybe we'll do another round of this. But if you feel like if you're in the chat and you're watching this and you're really great at a game, I had such a blast talking to each one of you guys. I think I could do a series of this and find really great players. I hope you guys had a good time watching this. I want to give a quick shout out to Blast, who put together this little intro for me. I'm just going to play it really quickly on my way out so you can see. I thought it was cool. I didn't get to play it on my other intro, but check out this cool. I just watched Kong vs. Godzilla the other day. Check this out.
We need Kong. The world needs him.
Oh, yeah, we need Kong.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
He's also one of the best. I don't care what anybody says.
Awesome.
I saw him win. And on top of that, come on, we got to give it up for this guy for putting all this together. Man, amazing.
No, thank you, Blast. I wanted to share that because I might use that as a new intro, but I can't. I won't spoil it, but I wish there was a future Mecha Kong something happening. But you can see Mecha Kong here at Kongs R Us. Thank you guys so much for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.